but how much time they spent on the mat. So it's better to say the length of time. We talk sometimes about the length of time that people have spent on the mat. Aurel, for her part, Mathilde Aurel, has spent nearly 18 minutes on the mat in 3 contests.
Yeah, and the reason being is that she finds it very difficult at the moment to finish techniques off and to throw for ippon. Now, the main aim has to be to score ippons, because it's a little bit like in soccer. The main aim is to score a goal, not to get corners and to dominate the play, but to score a goal. And the main aim in judo is to score an ippon, whether it's on the ground or whether it's standing. And so a lot of these youngsters are homing their skills and their throwing skills and their groundwork transitional stuff into groundwork from standing. And I think that Aurel probably just needs to find her way a little bit, to work on her technique, and then she'll have a lot more success. Difficult for her to finish techniques off. And of course, we've seen as well all the way through all of the weight categories, and it's all the lighter weight categories here. We've seen it that the transition through from standing down to ground just lacking that little bit of snap and polish.
Judo picked up by Mathilde Aurel. It adds to the 7 that she's already collected earlier on. And that's harsh. I know that's harsh, but
no, I mean they need to know. I mean, and if the coaches are not realizing that, then they have to realize that from a technical point of view, it's much easier for anybody if they've got a good technical base that they can draw off. And not only that, technique, judo lasts longer if you've got a good technical base. You can carry on longer. If you haven't, then it tends to be an early exit.
Tatiana Vidyasova is the coach in the chair for Kadimova, and it's Autumn Pavia in the chair for Mathilde Aurel.
Yeah, I mean, I remember we were talking to Pavia, Miss Pavia, weren't we, before we came here, I mean, in the training area, before it all started, and she says, "Oh, we've got a great team," and I think that's commendable. You've got a great team. Is it a great team from a technical point of view? Is it a great team because they
won medals?
They're going to win medals, and I think you've got to get the balance. You have to get the balance. So it is a pretty tight match here. Kandimova and Aurel of France. Aurel, like you said before, a lot of time on the mat at the moment.
She's nudging up towards 25 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there was any doubt that she would be in quite good condition. It's slightly different, when you say, well, are you a good fighter? Are you a good judoka? Are you somebody who can go the distance? I mean, what is she playing for? She's playing at the moment to win any way that she can possibly do. She's got a second penalty on the board there, which tells you that she's struggling. Now it's going to go into golden score.
She's found a way to win on every occasion.
Yeah.
Kandimova picks up a penalty as well as we go into golden score. I'm not sure if that's going to count that much against her, because right now Aurel is the one with the difficult situation. A single error now will gift the bronze medal contest to Kandimova, whereas Kandimova has got one Shido to burn, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, Kandimova, if she falls behind a little bit here, and Aurel just keeps on dropping, she's got a Wazari there, and she got it for the Sianagi, and she must have just got her on her side there, and so Kandimova wins the first bronze medal in the under 40 kilos category.
Now, I'm much more moved now to talk to Mathilde Aurel about the performance, given that she's going to have this huge disappointment, the fact that she's fought, her socks off, been out there for 25 minutes and walked away without a medal. That's gutsy. She really hung in there. It may not have been the most attractive. A 5th place finish at the Cadet World Championships is no small thing. She's that you can call that an achievement. Whereas I wouldn't say a great deal to Dilara Kandimova. All her team are going to be there congratulating her, backslapping. The coach will be high-fiving with her. She's going to be well looked after. I just think that a youngster who's maybe 15 or 16, a loss at this stage when you've put so much out is going to be really deflated.
Like I said, I think she'll get so much more out of it, when she can throw a little bit better, and but that's part of the learning process here.
Right, Vitaly Sulima is taking his place in the middle. He's going to be refereeing the second of the bronze medal contests coming up now. Nina Auer of Austria. She goes up against Iora Martin Carices of Spain. It'll be Auer in the white judogi, Martin Carices in blue.
Yeah, I was quite impressed in the early stages with Auer's stance. She's got a very upright stance, and I was quite impressed with that earlier on. And let's just see how this one unfolds. The lightest weight category, this, under 40 kilograms. Under 40s, under 44s for ladies, and under 50s, under 55s for the men. But also interesting that the Japanese don't... Oh, look at this. She's straight in for the attack here. This might be all over. She's straight in. And Oa is on the attack here for the shimiwaza. Can she get the submission? She has definitely got that on. That is underneath the neck as well. The referee will allow it to carry on. And she is just going to... They're going to have to watch this very carefully. Yeah. Is she going to submit? They'll give it another couple of seconds here. And I tell you now, the forearms, no matter what happens here, forearms, she might have to submit. But forearms from the one applying the strangle, also going to be very tired. But they've got to allow it to carry on to a certain degree. They've got to make sure that she doesn't pass out here. So the referee watching very, very carefully. How long are they going to let it carry on? Oh, dearie me. Wow. Well, her transition there was really, really good.
Well, talk about hanging in there.
Wow.
I mean, you could see the lips were going blue.
Well, that's why they've got to watch it very carefully. The referee was watching
right on
to
top
see
of
if,
it.
yes, he was.
And luckily, it was in a position that you could see. You could see, first of all, you could see it was on. And the other thing was you could see every expression from Martin Carices. I mean, if you're looking at home, you must have been praying that she wasn't going to go out. Here's another chance.
I think we all were, weren't we? I think, really. And more good newaza here from Auer there. And now, can she dig in?
I'm going to put my money, Neil, on the fact that Martin Carices, every time they go to ground, is going to be out of there sharpish. Not going to want to hang around.
No, she realises here she's been dominated as far as the groundwork is concerned. We haven't seen much on the edge either, so every time they go near the edge, they want to get back into the middle. Hardly seen any edge play whatsoever. So it's going to be a Judo up for Martin Carices. And one for Auer as well.
Surprised about the Auer.
Me too.
A little bit more, surely she's had most of the contest and almost come up with the win.
Yeah, I mean, that scoreboard doesn't tell you the full picture, does it? doesn't tell you the full what's happened. Oh, also almost made a mistake
countered.
there.
Well, it's gone on the board.
Well, she went for the Kochi and to hook the inside of the leg there, and good tewaza there from Martin Karichis. Wow, what a turnaround this would be. She's going the wrong way, actually. She needs to turn the head completely the other way around. So it's no score.
Yeah.
That's been eradicated. Yeah, that wasn't anywhere near 90 degrees, was it? It really wasn't. Koichi Gayaki there, and she just lands almost on her front.
Just over half a minute to go.
From somebody who was nearly
out.
yeah, strangled. She's doing remarkably well here. Left against left. Not going to attack that front leg again, I'm sure. Not quite like that, anyway. Is it going to be Shido again? I can only assume it is.
And that's not long after Martin Karichis was given Wazari for almost a score. Timings here, just, you know.
Well, into golden score. I have to say that we have had quite a few golden scores today, and like I said in the beginning, I think half the reason is that they're finding it difficult to finish their opponents off. So the ability to throw for Ippon, probably not as good as it should be or could be, and really it needs to be the top priority.
I'm not against the idea of this one in golden score. I've seen enough from both of them to feel, okay, just give you that little bit extra. Both been having a go. They've both been having enough of a go to warrant a little bit of extra time for me.
Yeah, no, it's dead even, isn't it? This match is dead even. And, of course, this is the ability then to change to the other flank. You know, they've been going the same way every single time, and it's the ability now to switch it up.
Now back to the near waza again.
Yeah, well, they need to switch it up a little bit. They need to maybe change the techniques. They've been looking for the same techniques. And again, that wasn't far off. So a little Ashiwaza there, and Diashi Barai catches the front foot. So Ashiwaza, the foot sweeps, help to set up the direction of attack, and they help to upset balance. It's a little bit like in boxing where the boxer uses the jab to set up the big punch. Look at that. Just catches the front foot.
I think there's been a third penalty.
That's it, yeah.
Martin Karichis takes a third penalty. I think, mercifully, a large number of the athletes have already competed, especially the European athletes have competed a lot. It's not the first time they've had to suffer a loss on the international stage, and hopefully it's not going to be that painful. But I think she gave everything that she had. You know, let's not talk about evaluating the levels and everything. We're talking about very young athletes. We're talking about a gutsy performance and hanging in there when that shimmy was nearly, you know, popping the head off.
Part of it is definitely coping with the loss, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is a hard pill to swallow, I know, but sometimes, unfortunately, you have to do it.
Coming up next, the final of the under 40 kilo category. Patricia Tomankova of Slovakia goes up against Sabina Yuldashbekova of Kazakhstan. It'll be Tomankova in the white judogi, Yuldashbekova in blue. The referee in the middle for this one is Val van Nester of Belgium.
Tomankova came in as top seed here, number 1 seed, and she's the European champion. She comes into this, I think, probably as the favourite.
Yuldashbekova was here in Zagreb earlier in the year and won the Continental Cup. So she's got quite a record here. Looking to make it 100%.
We haven't got any head-to-heads between the two, have we?
I shall have a look for you. And we won't ask the computer. We did that earlier on. Yeah.
No, definitely don't.
Yes,
do
in
that.
the quarter-final in the World Championships last year, it was Tomankova who won.
Yes, straight away, Bishikova is Shido down there. 1 penalty, 3 Shidos, and it's all over. So they can't afford really to give up any of the Shidos. The penalties for either not attacking or it might be for an infringement of gripping, the wrong kind of grips, and going out of the area as well. But as I said earlier, they've not been bad with that. They've stayed within the yellow area. Look at this, extreme right to right, and they're both trying to do foot sweeps in order to get it. Now then,
what a turnover!
Oh, she's just landed in the hole down there, and she made that look really easy, didn't she? Tomankova then just does she does the sumageishi there, and she lands in, and she just takes a quick look. Well, for me, was that a wazari, or they didn't give the wazari for it, so she's had to hold for the whole 20 seconds. And she becomes the world champion.
Well, I had a good chat with her in the warm-up area, and I told her, hey, I was there when they had the first cadet world champion at under 40 kilos. Let's see if you can add your name to that list. No, she's just done that.
She has, and when we have a look at the throw as well, I'm not quite sure why it didn't score, which would have meant, of course, if it was a wazari, that she only needed to hold for 10 seconds, but she held for the whole time, so I mean there was no doubting about it. But have a look at this. So she does it off the ground. It's still game on, by the way, just for everybody, but they had a look at that and said it was off the ground.
Yeah.
Did you think that was game on? For me, it didn't ground, but I mean, anyway, I mean, but it was very close, wasn't it? A lot of people.
I'm okay with the turnover in for Newaza.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Yeah. No, and I fully understand, fully get it. You know that's what went on.
Right, we come now to the first of the bronze medal contests in the under 50 kilo category. Francesco Crociani of Italy goes up against Nurbal Askar of Kazakhstan. It's Crociani in the white judogi, Askar in blue. The referee in the middle for this one is Cosmin Cristia of Romania. Tell you what, Neil, we're racing through these.
Well, it's such determination, isn't it, and grit. I said in my opening address, that the one thing you get is the absolute direction, determination, and passion from these youngsters, because they'll just give it everything. They'll never stop fighting.
Not as many tactics here.
No. Graziani, is in white here. Askar, Kazakhstan in blue. A lot of drop. Seatoshis, Sianagis, and straight away here, Graziani in trouble here. Askar taking the fight to him. The catch is always the most difficult thing with any kind of transition from standing down to ground. You've got to know exactly what you're digging in for, what you want, and just as you add to your repertoire standing wise and what are your favorite techniques and what your go-to techniques are, and you add to your repertoire so that you can set up your big techniques. And you do the same on the ground. And of course, if you haven't got any now, then this is where it's most dangerous when you do any kind of jujigatami or arm lock attack. If you roll that way, it's got to be better because the head of your opponent goes down, and also it enables you then to apply pressure to the head and to apply pressure to the arm. But we saw quite a few going the other way and rolling the wrong way in the early stages, the early contests.
It could be as we get to now that we're into the group where the medal winners are, we might just get to see something slightly different.
Yeah. So you see, he panicked a little bit there and changed the direction. But the most important thing when you're going for any kind of konsetsuwaza, which is an arm lock, is that you apply pressure to the arm. And it's got to be sufficient pressure that they react and they want to stand up. That's what you want them to do, is to want to stand up. You don't let them stand up, of course. Shimiwaza, any kind of strangle, you've got to dig in and you've got to go for the neck. You have to catch the neck, can't go across the face. And this is good newaza here from Askar. I mean, he's really given it to Graziani. At this stage now, Graziani is thinking, how can I get just back into this fight? How can I start to make an impact? Because he's going to get Judo soon. So I think that will be enough for Judo when they get up. So the Judo will go up against Graziani, I think. Will it? No, he doesn't get it.
He will now. Oh, both of them get it.
Well, you see, is that against the run of play? I guess it is. Different Sianagis from Askar. There's a good one there, Graziani. And that was across the face. I think when they do that, when they dive in like that, they kind of half hope that they'll lift their head up, let them in underneath the chin.
You get a little bit of a get out of jail card when you appear to. It seems like that to me. Crociani, for example, looked passive. They didn't give it. Stopped the contest. Gave the penalty for both athletes avoiding to take a grip, and it was like a reset for a different penalty. He was still passive.
Yeah, and now he's come back into the match.
Now with one attack, he's come back into it.
Yeah.
I know they don't like to give penalties very quickly, but if it's for different things, then you can't avoid it. They did earlier on. They gave a passivity penalty, and then the very next action was the athlete who'd been given the passivity penalty grabbed the hand of his opponent who was trying to grip. He grabbed the hand, and then with the second hand he pushed it down. So there was absolutely nothing to do but to call a penalty for that gripping infringement. The fact, although he just had one for passivity, it was two different things. You had to give it.
2 penalties within 5 seconds.
And now we're into golden score. That happened whilst I was holding hands with Neil Adams.
Just don't tell anybody.
Yeah, it's just between the two of us.
I've always liked you. I've always been very fond of you.
Well, I kind of gathered that, you know, the feeling came across after 50 years. You know? began to wear on me.
Well, those definitely. Oh, now then. No, that was off the floor.
Yeah.
You see? And now it'd be interesting to see how many understand that. But definitely was off the floor.
Put himself in a good position to work on the arm again.
Yeah.
Right, here's the replay. Right, well, my man's on the ground.
Yeah, it was off the ground.
He's grounded, yeah.
Well, it had
So,
1, 2.
yeah.
If one,
Both.
2.
Well, yeah, 2 stabs at it,
And then he was in.
As you say, for those who don't know the rule, they may be looking to claim a score.
Yeah, of course, there was immediate shouts, weren't there? You know,
of
but
Wazari, but Askar was grounded.
Yeah.
Askar was in. There was, undoubtedly.
But I've got to say, credit to Crociani, because
why not?
he's come back into this now.
And that was valid for a turnover. He could he could roll him and work on the ground, so that was okay.
Both looking for the same thing here. They're both going very, very low with these drop Sianagi Siatoshis, and both looking for the same.
By the way, Tomankova, who we just saw in the under 40 kilo category final, has won 5 events on the spin, back to back 5. Continental Cup in Teplitsa, Kaunas, the European Championships for cadets in.
This could be on here, Sheldon.
Sorry, go on.
This could be on. He's threatened this a couple of times here. The arm might be out here if he concentrates on the arm.
He's
got it out. He's got it out. Is he going to submit on it? He's got the arm out straight here. Just can't quite apply it. If he rolls over one more time, he'll have that. Oh, dear me. That was so close.
I thought when Askar rolled himself that way, that was a bad move.
No, he had to roll. He was trying to relieve the pressure there, that's for sure. Yes, so she's definitely the lady of the moment, isn't she? Pretty impressive record. Watch how he comes up on top and he's straight onto the arm. That transition is what judo is all about. Well, he's had to just leave the mat area. Anybody out there that doesn't know what goes on here, the referee has to tell the person out there just to stop walking around. Bit of nerves, obviously, but also they have to leave the mat area to see the doctor. The doctor does not come on to the mat area. They're only allowed... Go on, you going to say...
No, I was just going to say about Tomankova finishing off on her winning the European Cadet Championships early in June. She just then went on later in the same month to win the European Youth Olympics and now the World Championships for cadets.
That's the whole lot.
Yeah, cadets is done. Next, she was stepping up to juniors, mind you, at 40 kilos. There's a way to go because the next weight is 48
8 kilos.
8 kilos.
Yeah.
So there'll be a while.
That was going to be a false attack. So whether they're going to give it or not, he's going to get away with it. And but it definitely didn't look good, that, and nor did that one. So they're going to let that one go, I'm sure.
Yeah, you can see the situation here with only one Judo and Crociani with two. If he just throws in attack after attack, one, Crociani will be passive. The second thing is he might catch him. So, but really, the question here is Askar attempting a throw?
Yeah.
That's the real question.
And is he trying to get him
the third Judo, yeah.
And that was terrible. Look at that. His head actually hit the floor there. So there's some real panic attacks coming on here.
It'd be better just pulling away Crociani rather than, following him, making it that much more obvious that it's a false attack.
Now then, did he change the direction? No, I think it was his own movement there that took him over, Crociano.
Just a second earlier, yeah. Oh, he was trying to pull him over for the Yoko Sutemi, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
Strong effort. Left-sided from Crociani. And now it's Askar's turn to have a go at the Sangaku.
He might have this. My goodness, if he can sit up here.
No.
Oh, he just had to get out of there, didn't he? I mean, if he'd have let that settle there might have been trouble.
Three and a half minutes of golden score.
Oh, he's got it. That is, well, that looked like Tanio Tosh to me.
Yeah, they're going to look at this because it's on the other side from where the referee's standing. This time it is on the other side.
And it was still game on, and for me that was it. That was definitely the score. And that was a really nice Tanio Tosh, Uranagi technique there. Crociani wins the bronze medal.
Yeah, good battle. 4 minutes almost of golden score.
No bow off the mat. Needed to go to the edge of the mat there and bow off.
Yeah, overcome with emotion to the point of forgetting the protocol. Never mind. We'll have to catch up with him.
Congratulations, bronze medal goes to Italia, Francesco Crociani. Čestitamo, brončana medalja ide u Italiju.
Right, we've got a second bronze medal contest coming up now. Choygilsav Tulgudur of Mongolia goes up against Shota Bakoshvili of Georgia. Choygilsav in the white judogi, Bakoshvili in blue. The referee in the middle for this one is Lisa Harrison of Great Britain.
Nice to see Lisa Harrison out there refereeing a world medal match.
That is not Bakoshvili.
No, it's
by
not.
the way.
It doesn't look anything like Lisa Harrison either, does it?
That's Bakoshvili.
There he is.
In any case, Bakoshvili is in the blue judogi. That is Choygilsav Tulgudur of Mongolia. Right. Bakoshvili was impressive earlier on, just losing one contest. He just has the tendency to take a little bit of time to set things up.
Always looking for that big arm over the top, isn't he, Bakoshvili?
He had a stab with the left ojigari. There he goes again. And now again over that left shoulder.
Well, he's about 3 attacks
Yeah.
up at the moment. He's the only one taking the fight to Choygilsav.
One attack here will do it. Just got to be first.
Yeah, just make it strong. But we've seen him with some really strong techniques earlier on. And that was one of them there, that massive sort of Makekomi.
Just managed to spread out there, Choygilsav, and block that. Just pulling him in again. I like the way they work partly on the arms.
Well, they kind of reel it in, isn't it? It's like the
Fishing.
old fishing expedition there where you just reel it in.
It's there.
Yeah, needs to use it now.
Go brave.
Well, he can feel the danger
Yeah,
as well because Choygilsav there has obviously got some kind of pickup there, which a lot of the Mongolians have.
You're right about it's the inability at this level to put together powerful combinations. Haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Not combinations where the second technique is so strong that you come up with the score. These are all one hits.
I always find that it's because the ashiwaza hasn't been developed. You know, a lot of the time, we saw it a bit earlier on, didn't we? With nice double stab ashiwazas. Look how successful they were.
Choygilsav picks up a penalty, and now immediately afterwards, Bakoshvili picks up a penalty for avoiding to take a grip. The inability to keep a clean sheet, we call it, avoid picking up penalties from some of the fighters is a little bit disappointing, because these are what we were talking about last week with the seniors on here at the Grand Prix. Unforced errors don't need to go there sometimes.
No, well, sometimes you've only got 3 shidos to play with, and well, 2 really, and then the other one's finished. So actually, it's
quickly done, isn't it?
Yay!
Oh, nice turn.
Well, that's going to be a score. Wazari scored there, and Bushashvili there just catches him on the counter, and of course the Georgian's really good countering.
Just about squeezes this one out, doesn't he?
Yeah, this is how it happened. So it came in, just about squeezes it out, just about with the arm.
There's a lot of the body and the side in contact with the mat, and it was really placed there. He didn't fall.
And it's upper part of the body, isn't it? Not the lower part. Nothing about the legs.
Right, so Bakashvili now having collected only one Shido, slightly unusual for him. He normally has two by this time. But if he can just stay here in this zone, good gripping, good movement, and hopefully for his sake, come up with a little bit of newaza just to burn some of the time off the clock. Well, that looked like a duck.
It did. It was really borderline, wasn't it? I don't think it was quite over the top.
No, there was something that wasn't quite right about it. Going over on
well, he's
one
got the cross
side,
grip now, and he's not using it.
He does now. Little stab. He's going to go here.
This is the stage, isn't it, where you want that 24 seconds. I mean, it seems like it's going to last forever.
Well, here is the situation when he's got two penalties. Oh, they take that. I thought that he'd gone down. That was a good call for me from the red row. Here we go. She hadn't given she's given a second penalty, and they probably suspected that she was about to give another one for ducking underneath. So false attack, yeah, and just warn the referee. Okay, so maybe that was what was being suggested. Getting backed up here. It's all-out attack now.
Yeah, absolutely. 7 seconds left.
On
now
top.
Just trying to climb on top here, Bakashvili. At this stage now, you kind of go anything now just to burn those few seconds.
Just stand up strong, arms out. Well, I know some people are saying that he dropped, but he climbed all over him, so it was very difficult not to drop. He came in there and almost pulled him to the ground there. So Shota Bakashvili it is who overcomes the challenge from Choyjuljav to Guldur of Mongolia. Bakashvili takes the second of the bronze medals in the under 50 kilo category. We have to see how he develops. It's a work in progress, isn't it?
I think for all of them it's a work in progress. I really do, because they all look as if they've got so much spirit, so much, and some of them are in quite good condition. Some of them are in terrible condition, I have to say, which surprised me. But the ones who are in good condition, you can get anybody fit. You can get a racehorse fit. But is it fit for the job? And I think that's an important thing to remember here, is that you have to get fit for the job in hand. This is judo, but anyway. And then you have to learn the technical side. You've got to learn your technical base. If you're going to play a musical instrument, you have to learn the notes.
Absolutely. We come now to the final of the under 50 kilo category. Mohammad Mamishov of Azerbaijan goes up against Nihad Mamishov of Azerbaijan. They are not related. They come from completely different parts of Azerbaijan. They just happen to have the same family name. The referee in the middle for this one is Vladimir Nutsubidze of Georgia.
Yeah, no prizes for guessing who's going to win the gold here. Well, everybody was saying during the break from the semi-finals to the finals here, what a story, because here they are related and they're in the final, which must be the first time ever. But they're not related. But to have two from the same country, same name, I think that's a pretty good story in itself anyway. You've got a rich history. Oh, he's got it. Well, that arm came out there, and that Jujigatami was on. Nihad Mamishov in blue, almost catching the arm lock there. Remember, they are training partners. They obviously train together, these two. I don't know whether at the beginning of the day, if they'd have said, right, we're going to meet in the final of the World Championships. Tries to do that duck under Kataguruma, reverse Kataguruma, Mohamed Mamishov. Well, it was always going to be a tight match. There was nothing about this that was going to end with a massive throw, saying that. And Nihad Mamishov in blue there, almost arm-locked his fellow countryman. Just saying that it was always going to be a tough match, wasn't it? It was never going to be easy, this. It was going to be a bit of a stalemate. Not a Shido on the board at the moment, which quite often when we get a situation like that, it normally means that we're going to go into a long golden score.
Mohamed Mamishov was the #1 seed coming into the competition this morning. His teammate Nihad was unseeded, cleared out the whole of the lower half of the draw. Mohamed being at the top of the draw, he went through, but his teammate was unseeded, coming under attack there. Defeated the #2 seed Galo Bensa of Hungary in round 3, and then in the quarter-final he defeated Choijil Chav, who we just saw in the previous bronze medal contest. That was a nice attack. And then in the semi-final he defeated Norbul Askar, who we saw in the other bronze medal contest. So he's been a busy boy, as Nihad knocking out the #2 seed, and then the #7 seed. He's put a few of them out.
Well, and he almost caught the duty here, so he's definitely taken the fight to his compatriot here.
Probably his roommate.
Well, I said that. I said they obviously train together. They know each other really well.
And when you come away on these sorts of trips as a youngster, you're not given your own room, as a cadet in the beginning. You're sharing with one of your teammates. Well, who better than your training partner? Everything. They probably stuck them together. Probably sat next to each other on the flight, roomed together, trained together, warmed up together, and then end up.
Well, it happened with me and Chris Bowles.
Battling for the final
together, and several World Championships to Olympic Games. Became lifelong friends.
Ooh.
Oh, and he scores. Look at that. Mamishov scores, and that's it. Golden score. He wins the gold medal. Well, I don't know if he knows what he's just done here, but Nihad has just done the lot of them.
I was just going to say, until you said Nihad, you were guaranteed to be correct when you said that when Mamishov has scored. And to his credit, Mehmed had held the hand up of his teammate. So,
yes, took it well, Mohammed.
Yeah.
Just counters him. He didn't know Uchigari, wasn't that strong. As he starts to come in there, well, Kouchi, wasn't it? And overstretched and just gets taken backwards.
Looks as though he might be the younger of the two. I'm just saying that. A little less facial hair, I suppose. Maybe that'll do it. Anyway, they were guaranteed to take the gold medal. It was just a question of which of the Mamyshovs was going to do it. And when I chatted with the coach, he was quite relaxed during the break. And I said, but I'll tell you something, for my family, for my money, Mamyshov will win. And for a second, he didn't know what I meant. And then his colleagues around him started laughing because they realised, well, of course Mamyshov's going to win. Right, we come now to the awarding ceremony for women in the under 40 kilo category. Let's see how this is going to go. The medals are being presented by the International Judo Federation Education and Coaching Director, Mr. Mohamed Marija. The first of the bronze medals goes to Nina Auer of Austria. There's a bronze medal also for, who we got there? Dilara Kandimova of Turkmenistan. There you go. Silver medal goes to Sabina Yuldashbekova of Kazakhstan. But the gold medal goes to Patricia Tamankova of Slovakia. And for those of you that would like to hear from Patricia, she's going to be joining us in or on Golden Score immediately after the last awarding ceremony and immediately after Neil has done the wrap-up.
Yeah, good win from her, and just shows how consistent she is. She's the one at the moment, isn't she? That's for sure.
Won the lot. That's it. There's nothing else for her to win at this level. Europe, EOF, and then the world. Now the national anthem of Slovakia. You don't hear that one very often, do you?
No, you don't. I'm just trying to. I was just wondering whether I'd ever heard it before.
Oh, that's a new one on me.
Yeah.
There are the bronze medal winners on the right side there, Auer and Kandimova. And then we've got the silver medal winner, Yildiz Bekova, and the gold medal went to Mankova. And as I say, we'll hear from her a little bit later. I look forward to chatting with her. Have you got your surprise package lined up for us then? You know what we've got?
Yeah, I've got a couple of techniques that I think that everybody might be interested in.
Very well, I shall look forward to that. Right, we've got the next weight category coming up, and that's the under 44 kilo category. The first of the bronze medal contests features Lazitsa Haydarova of Uzbekistan. She's going up against Begunmans Dogruyol of Turkey. It'll be Haydarova in the white judogi, Dogruyol in blue. The referee in the middle for this one is Ganbold Niamtsog of Mongolia. Turkey have got quite a few athletes in and around.
Yes, I was just about to say that. And I think they're going to be in the medals
over the next couple of days.
Over the next couple of days, yeah, for sure. Maybe. And the teams.
Yep.
Haydarova in white here, Dogruyol in blue. Dogruyol just wants to get on with it, absolutely. Well, as always, strong fight for grips. These drop techniques, not quite got any rotation, but it's all to do with the kumikata, the gripping strategies, and whether they can get their grips and then maintain the grip all the way throughout the throw. It's definitely the kumikata, the gripping, that starts the technique off. It starts it all off, but it also finishes it. Now that was across the face, and Haydarova straight in for the shimiwaza, but the strangle wasn't. It was across the face. And this is the situation that we were talking about earlier, about having something to go to when you're on the ground. It's having a go-to technique, something that you're looking for, whether it's attacking from the front or whether it's attacking from behind, but you've got to know which one you want and where you're going to attack from. And that's the thing about catching something on the ground and the good transition into groundwork. Well, you've got to look at the gripping, and you've got to have a look at rotation, whether they get rotation, whether they control, that was better. And whether they get central to the central points if they're going underneath their opponent there. And Hyderova there, because of the last couple of techniques there, gets her opponent a Judo penalty. And she almost came unstuck there. She attacked and almost got countered. Hyderova has her head down just a little bit too much. She needs to keep the head up. Yeah. And gets a Judo from it. Oh! Nice turnout there, wasn't it? Dogurol, a little Ochigari there, gets her driving backwards, but she manages to turn out onto her front. It's got to be a side landing, 90 degrees, it's got to be all upper body.
And I thought that she took quite a heavy landing. Looked as though she had a little bit of on the face there as well. And given that we've already been through quite a face plant last week,
we did,
remember,
didn't we, last
weekend?
week, yeah, one of our
the gold medalist in the other 63 kilo category had her face a bit of a bump. I think to say that she got a nosebleed is a understatement, isn't it? Lucy Renshaw.
Yeah, and managed to come on and rescue the match and take over and then win it in the end.
A little bit of discomfort there from Doguriol, and it was one of those ones where your opponent loses contact with that hand, your body gets to straighten up because you're not turned, and then it ends up looking as though it's gone against the arm. Quite often that's the thing.
Quite often, you know, it can be the other person moves into the position where it applies pressure to the arm. Yeah. Second Judo then goes to Dogurol.
Much to the dismay of the Turkish coach. Sorry, yeah, it is, yeah. Oh, and that really looked as though that went against the arm.
It really did. And they might have a little look at that just to see if it did.
She's in the wars here.
Yeah, it's it didn't look good, did it?
No.
It was going across the face.
Maybe not. Yeah.
Might be just the way that she moved, I think, that put her in that position. Now then, that was a nicer one, right the way underneath there. Dropped right the way through between the legs. Needs a couple of clear ones there. And that was another really strong attack if she goes again. Can she secure the hold? She can. She's straight into the hold down there. Dogurol in all sorts of problems here now. And she just needs to hold her for 10 seconds and it's all done.
Got stronger then, yeah, with the move.
Holds her for the 10 seconds, gets the Wazari. That's all she needed. It was in golden score, so she didn't need to hold her for longer. And it's all over.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner and Cadet World Championships bronze medalist for the women's under 44 kilo in white judo gi, representing Uzbekistan, Laziza Haydarova.
Yet again, another young athlete has to cope with the loss. It's not easy, is it? It's probably the hardest pill to swallow here.
Well, I can't. There's no other bigger stage for them at this point in their careers.
No.
So we're really looking at the biggest loss they've ever had.
Yeah.
And now how to deal with it. Of course, for those that have been here before, and we don't know all of their backgrounds, somebody may have been to last year's Cadet World Championships and lost in the final. Now they're losing the bronze medal. So, but I suspect that whomsoever loses here has not lost at any other late stage.
Not very much anyway.
Yeah, this is it. Right. Coming up next, the second of the bronze medal contests in the under 44 kilo category. Kristina Lili Krizova of Slovakia goes up against Olivia Devi Hidrom of India. It will be Krizova in the white judogi, Hidrom in blue. The referee in the middle for this one is Randos Kianov of Kazakhstan.
Well, a second chance of a Slovakian medal here.
Yes, we've already seen them take the gold medal in the under 40 kilo category. Can they add to their tally with the bronze here?
Yeah, well, I'm saying that, and it's a great chance here for an Indian medal as well. And you don't get too many of those. We had the very first ever junior world champion just at the last junior world championships, I think it was, wasn't it? And that was an amazing moment.
That's right. Gold medal winner in the under 57 kilo category.
Good start from Hidrom. One penalty already on the board there for Krizova.
Yeah, that was for breaking off the grip.
Sometimes it's just the small things that they're the golden nuggets that they get. So that's the first time I've seen anybody go outside the area.
Yeah, I'm going to put that down to Hudrum, actually, for just being a little bit loose with the competition area. Wandered over to that side.
But now, wasn't far off. She fallen in. Ooh, she fell into the hole down there, Krizova, and that was. And now she's in it. She's in it now, Krizova, and Hundrum is holding Kazure Kami Shihogatami, and she's holding her, and she just has already, I think, got the Wazari on the board, and this could be a really incredible medal for India. Wow, what a medal that is. Another world medal for India.
At cadets, yeah.
And I've got to say, I'm looking at her face now. It's not as though it was unexpected, is it? It's not like it's the biggest surprise on her. I mean, she knew she had a chance here.
Krizova is going to be so disappointed when she looks back. That simple slip to where she ends up on her back and then unable to escape.
Yes, she made a big mistake. Here it is. She thought, I'm going to have a go here. And actually, she started outside of the area, didn't she, there? But anyway, she ended up in the middle. Kamishiogutami in the middle there. And manages to hold her opponent for the ippon.
Coming up next, the final of the under 44 kilo category. Clarice Ribeiro of Brazil goes up against Togbata Otganjagul of Mongolia. It'll be Togbata in the white judogi. Sorry, it'll be Ribeiro in the white judogi. There she is. And Togbata, in the middle for this one, is Lubomir Petra of Australia.
Well, I've got to say, out of anybody today, I've been mostly impressed with Ribeiro. So Ribeiro, for me, had just superior technique. She's the one that's looking for the ippon. That's Togbata. Here's Ribeiro, and I think she'll be looking for the ippon here as well. So let's hope we get it. Ribeiro of Brazil in white, Togbata, Mongolia. Notice how straight away they've got that sleeve pinned down, but they'll have to go into techniques from it, and she does.
Yeah, and then once that sleeve has been pinned, during the next few exchanges, you can see how they try to avoid giving it up. What sort of things they do. Do they change their gripping strategy and stance?
I think Ribeiro wants to go underneath. I mean, she's got an uchimata, we know that. She's also got an ouchigari, but she's got a surikomi she does as well. It'll be all about just finding the right situation and the right position here in order to throw. I think she's an attack off getting a Shido, Togbata, because she hasn't really taken the initiative here. It's all Ribeiro. And she'll change the direction in a minute, Ribeiro. Not far off there with the hips across there, was she?
A few budding referees in the crowd who
yeah,
called Wazari, and they're likely to fail their exams.
Yes. Yes. Not too far away there, was she, Togbata?
We've seen Togbata throw with almost that standing Sonagi earlier. Just wondering who was it that she threw earlier on. Was it Crispo?
I always like to see how they conduct themselves, you know, but defeat or success. Yes. That's it, tip on. Massive hips across, and she was looking for the ippon all the time. She was just waiting for the right moment with it. So if you think that she's got ippon every match here, Ribeiro.
Just got a little bit too close to Ribeiro, didn't she, Togbata?
She expected that, Ribeiro, and she came out full of confidence. You can tell that just the way she is, she's the most confident out of anybody I've seen today, and certainly the most impressive. And I remember seeing a very young Menezes coming out, and I said, that's one for the future, and she became Olympic champion. That was a close one, wasn't a score, that was 2 hits. This one here, she starts to go round the waist here, and then, ukigoshi, a form of, or ogoshi, takes her opponent over.
2023 Cadet World Champion, Clarice Ribeiro, Brazil.
Right, Clarice Ribeiro it is. Gold medal for Brazil. We come now to the awarding ceremony for men in the under 50 kilo category. The medals are being presented by the International Judo Federation Sport Director, Mr. Skander Hachicha. The first of the bronze medals goes to Shota Bakoshvili of Georgia. There's a bronze medal also for Francesco Crociani of Italy. Silver medal goes to Mamad Namishov of Azerbaijan. The gold medal goes to Nihad Mamishov of Azerbaijan.
The Vice President of the European Judo Union and the General Secretary of the Croatian Judo Federation.
Novčane nagrade poklone dodijeliti će dopredsjednik Europske judo unije i glavni tajnik Hrvatskog judo saveza, gospodin Hrvoje Litvi.
Yes, an unusual final in as that you had two from the same country.
With the same name.
With the same name.
I suppose it could have happened with the Republic of Korea. Two
Yes.
Kims, two Lees, because that's
Absolutely,
fairly...
yes. Yeah.
Now the national anthem of Azerbaijan.
Zajednička fotografija, osvajača medalja i kostim.
Bakoshvili and Crociani were the bronze medal winners. Mamishov and Mamishov, well, I better do that, hadn't I, with their given names. Muhammad Mamishov picked up the silver. It was Nihad Mamishov who picked up the gold. Right, Neil, we've got one more weight category to bring you.
Going through them very, very quickly.
Yeah, the last weight category of today is the under 55 kilo category, and the first of the bronze medal contests features Marko Jorgic of Serbia. He goes up against Oralbek Bajzak of Kazakhstan. It'll be Jorgic in the white judogi, Bajzak in blue. The referee in the middle for this one is Ramzi Shamirov of Tajikistan. I wasn't going to mention Tajikistan because if I mention Tajikistan, I've got to mention Dushanbe, and I had a nightmare last night that Neil had started beating me every time I said Dushanbe. So
I'm looking at Djorgic here with his belt. I feel like undoing his belt and getting him to tie it properly up. Djorgic in white. Then don't mention
again.
it again. And that went below the belt line there. His right arm there went below the belt. They're not allowed to touch anything below the belt line. And we've seen several that have held below the belt line. Several today. Almost as if they didn't really understand that rule. Oh, gosh. My knees were screaming then. My knee was screaming.
Almost an accident.
Oh, dear me.
That kind of simultaneous action, wasn't it?
I would be broken. I know. My knee would have gone. Sometimes you get an entanglement there, and it doesn't quite look right.
Miss with the makikomi.
Yep, we're going to see. I think some scores here. I really do. They're quite open, these two. Sometimes you get two fighters come out. It doesn't matter what form of fighting it is, and they'll close it down. And it's almost like fighting not to win, or not to lose, sorry, as opposed to fighting to win, which is different. You kind of leave yourself open. If you have two Mike Tysons coming out at each other, one of them is going to go. Somebody is going to get hit. Guaranteed.
Almost went around the back for the
he didn't like that big arm over the top, that's for sure. You have different styles that people have to contend with, and a lot of different countries adopt different styles. The Georgians, sometimes the Kazakhs, and they have different forms of wrestling that instigate the different grips. The Mongolians as well, they have underhooks. They underhook under the armpits and round the back. And so they have different styles of gripping the judogi. The Japanese, it's very traditional sleeve and lapel.
Busy little fighter, isn't he?
Yeah, no, something's going to happen here. It's open, this. Yeah, he's really opened it up, hasn't he, Djorgic? Can he get this started?
It's funny how many times we've seen fighters today take up good-looking positions to attack, and then they can't make the progression. It's as though they know what should come next, but they're not able to affect it.
Yes. Yeah, it's like having an idea, but it's not a trained idea, and it's not one that's been developed. And you know, if they have got a half a technique there, it's certainly not polished. It's not the finished product.
It's like getting in the car and thinking, now, how do you start this?
It is. It's exactly that. You know, then you have a rough idea. You know how to do it. Is that one on? Well, he's saying, well, it's across the face there.
And so is the referee, who calls mate.
Wasn't far off with that, was he, Belzak?
He's had a few stabs at that Makikomi, hasn't he?
Yeah, well, he attacks out of danger, which he'll have to be a bit cautious about because otherwise he'll get penalised. He's attacking out of danger as soon as the right arm from Bajzak is coming over.
Koichi again. I want to see him work something on the ground, but he hasn't made any progress yet.
Second Shido up for Bajzak, and it's just pure work rate here from Djordjic.
Will score.
Flirting with danger here. Djordjic, not the strongest of attacks. It's also the situation that he finds himself in. It's kind of a giveaway. Tricky gripping position, and then almost.
Wasn't far off there, was he? Now it could happen. Oh, and he nearly counters him. And Djordjic there, still on top.
Again with that kind of Makikomi type effort. Even in the counter, he was looking for that.
Yeah, just that landing. He was kind of thinking of the pickup, wasn't he, there? And almost gets countered himself.
Too far away with that.
Yeah, what he doesn't want to do is start throwing this away just for the sake of putting an attack in. He's absolutely dominating this. Just needs to do exactly what he's been doing.
Yeah, looking a bit desperate there.
What a mistake. Absolutely threw it away there. Bajzak absolutely stole it. Manages to counter-attack here. Djordjic, it was all about Djordjic all the way through, I have to say. And then he thinks, well, I'm going to really go for this. And he went for it, didn't he?
He was penalty-free up until that point. And you could argue that the best thing for him to do at that stage was to
block out.
Yeah, to close it down. Make it difficult for his opponent.
Block out and not do anything. He didn't really need to. Well, I'm sure that if you asked this young man here, Bajzak would be telling you. Right. Did he just do a somersault?
He did indeed.
I think if you asked him, he'd say that he thought he was going to lose that match. Look at him. He just goes Sumigaeshi first of all. Then they stand up, tries the Kouchi. That almost worked about 3 or 4 times. Osoto Makikomi almost scored. And then this one here, just overbalanced. He just wasn't hooked in, was he? He just made a massive mistake.
Just went to the well once too often.
Went to the well, yeah. That's about it, isn't it?
Right, coming up next, the second of the bronze medal contests in the under 55 kilo category. Adrian Mivovan of France goes up against Mirkhalig Iskandarov of Azerbaijan. Mivovan in the white judogi, Iskandarov in blue. The referee in the middle for this one is Turbat Ensetsek of Mongolia.
First time I've seen any of the fighters drifting to the edge there. So straight away gets a penalty for that, Mivovan. And they've both drifted now. They're both just walked out. That's going to be a second penalty surely to Mivovan, and also one to, well then she's not going to give it.
Well, here we are with the first edge play.
It's the first time I've seen it in any of the contests today, the whole of today. So they go to the end of the edge of the area, attack so that they don't, they're not in any danger. It's mate straight away. That's why they're doing it.
Yeah.
And it'll lose somebody a bronze medal here. It's Mivovan that's doing it more than Iskandarov. Just not tight enough on the head, I'm afraid. Kochi! That would be a landing, wouldn't it? And he gets a Wazari for it. Goes to the inside of the leg, starts forward, goes to the inside there, and you see that was a 90-degree landing as he hits the ground. Well, was that a score? I mean, that looked as if it was on the edge there, and it wasn't far off a score unless the mate had been called. Still only halfway through this contest. All over him now, Iskandarov. Van then gets second penalty. Oh, it's going to be it. Is this going to finish it? Oh, wasn't far off, was it? Now, can he pull it back? He might be able to pull this into the hold down. Can he hold him? He needs to tie up. Needed to control the head, first of all, and just slow it all down. Holding below the belt then as well. And it's going to get a Wazari back. So Wazari back there for Mivovan with a minute to go. He was sitting back on his laurels there a little bit, Iskandarov. Sumigashi thought it was going to be a mate, and it wasn't. So gets taken over for a Wazari. Wazari apiece.
Stepping it up now.
Well, he's really stepped it up, hasn't he, Mivovan? Really wants to get on with it now, doesn't he, Mivovan? Well, I've got to say, it's a good attacking match, this one. They're both having a go at it. Here he comes, Mivovan then, last throw of the dice. Oh!
Gone again.
Iskandarov catches him with a Kosoto. And he was coming forward, wasn't he, Mivovan? He knew that one more Shido and it was going to be all over. But that was a really good open match, I have to say. Started off at the edge, but in the end, they decided to have a go of it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner and Cadets World Championships bronze medalist in the 55 kilogram category in blue representing Azerbaijan.
Yes, it looked as though it was going to be completely tactical and an unattractive matchup, but just got there in the end, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. It kind of opened up.
Congratulations. Third medal today for Team Azerbaijan.
Well, the announcer just announced that it was the third medal for Azerbaijan.
Well, they got the two from the one contest, didn't they? There were a couple
Gold,
of
silver and a bronze then.
A couple of women that were round and about early on from the Azeri team. Ended up finishing off medal-less. Right, we come now to the final of the under 55 kilo category. Mirabi Samadashvili of Georgia goes up against Nurlan Isatayev of Kazakhstan. Samadashvili in the white judogi, Isatayev in blue. The referee in the middle for this one is Jean-Claude Jimbi of Gabon.
In white judogi, representing Georgia, Mirabi Samadashvili. In blue judogi, representing Kazakhstan, Nurlan.
What do you talk about when you're walking out there? Well, I can tell you talk about all sorts, actually. Some of it's nonsense. Some of it's useful. Anything to get your fighter in the right frame of mind. Sometimes it's music, of course. Final, under 55 kilos. There's that big right arm that I was talking about the Georgians. Nearly left his arm out there, didn't he? And he's clicked off onto the Sangaku here, is Isteev. Trying to flatten him out here. If he can get him flat, then it will be something different. Wasn't that far off with it. Did well with that. Well, he gets up from a really strong groundwork attack and gets a Judo from an attack before. From not having attacked just prior to that in standing. I never quite get to grips as to why it's like that, but so a little bit of blood on the floor. They have to get that blood up. Any blood that's on Isetiev, if they can't stop the flow of blood, 2 times he's allowed to go off the mat, and on the 3rd time it's all over. So they have to stop it. More often than not, if they come back a 2nd time, they're all bandaged up, especially if it's the nose or a cut. Arm has landed. Just had a little go at the reverse Sumigesh there, which a lot of the top Georgians are doing at the moment. Bakari, the Olympic champion, said to me just last week, actually, he said, that's my technique. He just tried it. The young lad just tried it. I would have been very impressed if he'd have got it.
Well, they've got plenty of good examples to follow.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Block that.
Yeah, really good strong attack there from Isetiev.
Here he comes again.
And he did it this time. He says, right, you have a go at that. I'm going to have a little go.
Jean-Claude Jimby not impressed.
They just fall behind, don't they? They fall behind them, they got to pull them back, and if they get a landing, they get a score for it.
Just before 6 o'clock here in Zagreb. Last of the finals here on day 1.
Yeah, we've got an extra couple of finals, haven't we? An extra final tomorrow. Is it an extra final? No, we've only got 4, isn't it? It's only 4 every day.
4 tomorrow, 4 on... What's tomorrow? Thursday, Friday, 4 on Friday, 4 Saturday. Can't be 4 every day because we've only got 14. So at some stage it's going to be something odd. I'll give you the lineup actually, because I've got that somewhere.
Two Judos here to Isetiev. Can't afford another error. He just can't afford it. So, as a few coaches been told to calm it down just a tad. You can kind of understand in some ways they're very passionate about their students, and they're almost in there with them. Nice little Tayatoshi there from Isateev. Snake that leg across.
Goal is scored.
Everything to fight for, these two. That golden score. Well, the two Shidos get carried across, of course. Oh, not far off. Not far off there. That Sirtosh there just taking Samadashvili right the way over. So Isteyev there just very close. Well, I think they're looking to see if he went onto the head there, Samadashvili.
No, I don't think so.
Well, for me not.
No.
I just don't think he had much choice in it there, really. Sometimes you have no choice because they drive you down onto your head. If it's purposely put there, the head, to use the head to spin off, then it's disqualification. And that was it. That was the score. Sumigaishi there, and Isateev there gets the score in the end, and he is the world champion. I have to say that he was definitely the one that was coming closer every single time.
Congratulations! Gold medal goes to Kazakhstan! World Cadet champion from Kazakhstan, Nurlan Isabayev. Representing Georgia,
did it a couple of times, didn't he? That kind of threatened it in some ways. Certainly he was the closest all the way through.
Yeah, I forgot we've got extra categories, haven't we? It's not 14, it's 16.
Yes.
4, so 4, 4, 4, 4. Right, we come now to the awarding ceremony for women in the under 44 kilo category. The medals are being presented by the International Judo Federation refereeing supervisor, Mr. Carlo Nerster. The first of the bronze medals goes to Olivia Devi Hudram of India. There's a bronze medal also for Lazitsa Hedarova of Uzbekistan. Silver medal goes to Togbata Otgonchago of Mongolia. And the gold medal goes to Clarice Ribeiro of Brazil.
Prize money and the gifts will be presented by a member of the Safeguarding Sport Commission of the Croatian Olympic Committee.
Certainly, for me, probably the best that I've seen as far as technique is concerned, Clarice Ribeiro. And she did a good job upon it all the way.
Yes, you're right. Both men and women.
Yes.
Yeah. And now the national anthem of Brazil.